Okay, let's see, this should work.
Hey everyone, SafeLocked here on behalf of the League team.
Okay, let's see, this should work.
Hey everyone, SafeLocked here on behalf of the League team.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's see what this bitch has to say.
We have a lot to cover today, including our plans for preseason, challenges, and game modes. But first, let's talk about the state of the game. Overall, we're pretty happy with the state of League this season, but before we get into the details, let's dive into a topic that's been pretty popular lately, which is new champion balance. When we look at the data, we actually see that new champions have been pretty balanced on release this year, with the exception of Dr. Mundo.
What the fuck?
That said, there's more to healthy gameplay than just win rates, and we're still hearing that new champions feel unfair to play against, particularly when it comes to complex abilities or overloaded kits. If we're being completely honest, we don't think our champions have overloaded kits overall. But that being said, there have been times when we've given new champions too many tools and had to pull back later to give them more clear weaknesses. For example, Samira's ability to dash to allies was removed because it provided too much safety. Combined with her missile blocker, it made CCing her too difficult, especially since that's one of her main forms of counterplay. Another thing we consider when we hear a champion feels bad to play against is their intended complexity. We try to make a healthy mix of high, medium, and low complexity champions. In this way, whether you like mechanical skill expression, point and click simplicity, or something in between, there's a new champion that interests you. For example, with Vex, we wanted to create a champion that was fairly easy to pick up, and we're happy to see she's hitting that mark. But beyond just how complex a champion is to play, there's also how difficult they are to understand. We want new champions to have unique gameplay, but you shouldn't need a wiki to know how to play with or against them. Learning counterplay is a skill test we do think is important, but knowing what a champ can or can't do shouldn't be a part of it. This clarity is something we haven't always hit the mark on, especially with champions like Aphelios, who not only has a complex kit, but was also lacking UI clarity when he was released. Designing new champions is a constant balance between making something that's exciting, has clear counterplay, and isn't confusing. We're still trying to find that line, but we want to get to a spot where new champions aren't just numerically balanced, but that you all feel they're fair to play against. Beyond new champion releases, this season we've seen a wide variety of picks in every role. We've also seen a healthy improvement in diversity of playstyles across roles, especially in jungle and top lane. Some of this is due to direct champion changes, such as the kit adjustments that enable picks like Jungle Darius, Brand, and Morgana. New items like Anathema's Change and Hullbreaker have also had a positive impact, especially in top lane where we're seeing a ton of champion diversity. And finally, we know that some champion classes have been struggling after the item system update, and we've been working on some solutions to help them out. And this brings us to our plans for preseason. With that, I'm going to hand things off to Brightmoon, who will go more in depth on the upcoming changes.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Brightman, the lead producer of gameplay on League of Legends.
I don't really like this guy's
League
face.
is like a house. Sometimes we need to do a big renovation to keep it working well. Like when we
I don't really
roll
like
out
this
items.
guy's face.
And sometimes we just need to add some new furniture. For this year's preseason, we're sprucing things up with improvements to our existing systems, like items, runes, and the Elemental Rift. Let's start with our plans for items. While some champions and classes have lots of build options, we've still got others that don't feel like they've got a mythic or legendary that really speaks to them. So we're going to be adding some new items and tweaking some others. This will include two new mythic items. The first one is a support tank item, perfect for champions that want to get aggressive and charge into the middle of a fight. When you immobilize an enemy champion,
Struggling to hear you, what?
I'm always happy for changes, but I really hope it doesn't become like a Dota.
Yeah,
Well,
that's kind of why I'm watching it. I want to know what's happening in this upcoming season.
Yeah.
all nearby enemies will take increased damage from your team for a short period of time.
That sounds like such a
Second new mythic
ridiculous
item
item.
is built for mages, who are looking for a little more survivability.
Whenever you stun somebody, all enemies around them, including them, take more damage from your entire team. It's just like, oh, okay, Diana ulti. Poof. Like, I don't know, Malphite ulti.
It grants damage reduction that lingers for a few seconds after you get hit, and while the protection holds, you'll also get ability haste. We think it'll be particularly good for longer range mages who need a mythic that helps them survive a dive rather than pile on extra damage. When we updated League's item system, we wanted to give every champion strategic choices in every game.
That is a nice thing that you just said there.
What, to try and prevent dives instead of just deal more damage?
Yeah, as a fucking squishy.
Agreed, it's a mage tank.
Yeah, but they designed it for long-range mages, but they're gonna build it on Silas, and
Yeah, well, I mean, fuck, just
it's gonna make
for the
Silas so
ability-
broken.
What it should
maybe, and
be,
there might
it
be other
should
things
be,
you'll build.
it should be the ability power version of the Immortal Shield Bow that gives you a shitload of lifesteal and a shield when you're about to die.
Yeah, there needs to be more survivability for the squishy mages, definitely. Like an Oriana, if she gets jumped on by a Talon, she's just fucked. There's no
Well,
chance.
And what's
She's just
important for
unplayable.
me with the items is that I can be building the same core and make a decision partway into the game that I would rather go the defensive legendary instead of the aggressive legendary by just
that's
purchasing
also
the recipe or the one item change. As long as it's not a
Yeah.
completely different build as well.
We still think that's the right goal for Mythics, but our thinking has changed when it comes to legendary items. We think it's okay if some champions build the same legendary in most games if it's a perfect fit. But we also want you to have plenty of options, which is why we're improving legendaries for mages, assassins, and tanks. For example, assassins can look forward to a new legendary item that gives ability haste, and also refunds a portion of their ultimate's cooldown with enemy takedowns.
Wow.
Yeah,
Tanks
it
that
does
can never get enough mana will be happy with a new legendary item that grants bonus health based on
Well, I mean, who already gets resets on their cooldown? Master Yi,
That arena.
Kata. Yeah, like there's already some bullshit out there with champs that get their ults reset.
Sorry.
Pike. Oh my god.
Yeah, but that resets already, so I don't
Yeah,
think
but if
this
you
build
miss it
that-
and it does, mind you, if you miss it and it doesn't, then you kill them and your item procs a cooldown. You can just
Yeah.
use it again. You're just
Yeah.
using it for damage output.
Well, it doesn't do damage unless it executes.
Oh really? I didn't know that. That's
Or
interesting.
it does very little, something like that.
I think it does about half the damage when it doesn't execute.
Yeah, maybe not even, but yeah, definitely not the...
Not the full amount.
Yeah.
total mana, and also burn some of it to create a shield whenever they immobilize an enemy. And finally, mages who are tired of being
Sorry,
denied
what about a
a
shield?
item that grants bonus health based on total mana, and also burn some of it to create a shield whenever they immobilize an enemy.
Oh,
Finally,
that's cool.
mages who are tired of being denied their hard-earned kills can rejoice. They'll be receiving a new legendary that grants magic pen against recently shielded enemies.
But if you don't want to burn your
As
mana
for
with the
runes,
shield.
we think there are some good targeted changes we need to make. Most of
I
all,
like this
we
guy's
feel the
face.
Inspiration Tree's
That's
identity
what I
has been
said.
pretty unclear.
Yeah, I can
We'd
imagine.
like to broaden its keystone use cases. For example, we're reworking Glacial Augment
Don't need
to
to
double
show
down
us
on
his
its
face, his
fantasy
voice
of
is fine.
slowing down enemies.
Mm.
We are also making some modifications to Lethal Tempo to lean into its attack speed fantasy and give it a more distinct use
When
case
is
in the
this?
precision tree.
My god.
Up next are bounties. Champion bounties give teams who are behind a way to get back into the game without being a straight shot to victory. And this year, we're adding a second way for teams to try and make a comeback.
Okay.
Objective bounties will work like champion bounties, except you cash them in by taking map objectives, like towers or Baron. They ramp up slowly when the enemy team lead grows, and the bounty is shared with your whole team, regardless of who claimed it.
Okay.
Taking objectives
Okay.
really is the best way to come back when you're behind.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
yeah.
Because that means if you're further behind and you can sneak a single dragon or a baron or
Yeah.
something, you're going to get more for it.
Yeah, that's what Cameron's
It's-
saying, a catch-up mechanic.
That's a very interesting catch-up mechanic.
But it's very interesting because generally it's very hard to sneak a dragon away from a team that's beating you quite badly.
Yes, it definitely is. It definitely is. But
It's not impossible, and it happens a lot.
I want to know if they're getting then diminished returns as the leaders for taking those objectives, because then it might become more
That would
efficient
make
to
sense.
just prioritize fighting champions as opposed to taking the objectives, especially in like a tight team fight. Or maybe it's more
Or
important to take the
even
objective
switches.
to prevent them from getting those bonuses.
Yeah, even if it's not that good for you, it might be crazy for them.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Okay.
So we want to help make that a clearer and more rewarding strategy. That said, if a team is really far ahead, objective bounties won't change that. Being the better team should always get you a win. So we'll be watching the new bounty system closely to keep things in check.
Yeah.
Finally, let's talk about our biggest addition this preseason, dragons. We really like how each dragon creates unique terrain, grants powerful buffs, and adds more strategy to the mid and late game.
Fuck no.
So this preseason, we're adding 2 more. Up first is the Hextech Dragon.
Oh,
When your
God.
team defeats it, you'll all gain additional ability haste and attack speed. And if you claim the soul, you'll receive a chain slow that works kind of like Static Shiv's passive.
Wow.
When this dragon takes over the rift, it creates
cool.
Hextech gates that can transport you to set locations.
No.
across
Oh,
the map.
that's cool.
Don't fuck with
Second
me.
dragon joining the
That's
party
like a
is
Dota
Hextech's
thing.
darker sibling, the Chemtech.
Dota doesn't have
When you
teleports.
slay it, your
Can't
team will
fight.
deal increased damage when your HP
This
is low,
dragon is even
letting you
crazier.
turn around those close team fights. This Dragon Soul provides a second chance at life.
Are you
Sort of.
shitting me?
When you die, you'll enter a zombie state, where you can still
Even this
cast
guy can barely
abilities
say
and continue
it.
fighting when you'd normally be looking at a gray screen. And when the Chemtech Dragon purifies the map, it creates camouflage zones
Oh,
and fixed
no.
locations.
My
These dragons
goodness,
might
that's
seem more
cool.
impactful than the current ones, and, well, they
Some
are.
new shit.
Our goal is to add more unique encounters and
I
meaningful
don't know,
strategy to the
dude.
mid
The
and late
fucking
game.
teleporters from the Hextech thing, like, that's overkill.
I find that the coolest part.
Oh my
I like
God.
that. I think that if that can happen and in more
This.
inclusivity in the top lane, more access for the top laner to
Mm.
get involved. Where were those portals? Were you able to see?
Static Shiv's
It
passive.
looked like
That's
it was
about
like
the
around
When this
the
dragon takes
How do you figure out where they go? They must have set locations.
Yeah. I just hope there's like one close to top and like bot. And
This
dude, I
looks
think
like
that'd
the
be cool. I
entrance
like
to
the
River
portal.
from Blue Side with the chicken camp next to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And it looks like it's saying it's going to teleport you backwards. Unless that's just a marking. They all
Maybe
point
that's a
that
very vague
direction.
picture, yeah.
Okay. Where is that not the same thing? Is this the animation to make one?
Maybe.
over the
Yeah,
rift,
tough to
it
say,
creates
for sure.
Hextech
Because those look
gates
like the
that
same
can transport
place.
you to set locations.
Yeah, I think that's the animation
Across the map.
sequence.
Well,
The
that's
second dragon joining the party is Hextech's darker sibling, the Chemtech. And when the
This
Chemtech
whole
dragon
shit, where
putrefies
is
the
it?
map,
cool. Camouflage shit.
If you've got a thing
it
where
creates camouflage zones.
the people who are inside here can only see inside here, it's different to a bush because you walk in and you can still see this
Yeah.
whole area.
You can see out of a bush.
Can you see out of it? That does. You probably can't.
Yeah.
It's just a
would be
camouflage area. So if you're in there and you can see everything outside, that's fucking dangerous for this fight. Although this is Soul,
Probably can.
then
I
you're
wouldn't
fighting for
imagine they
Drake
make
there.
you- or maybe it is just a blind area to everybody unless you're in there. That would honestly be the best way, I think. Because if you can stay in there and see out,
They would have a huge
don't know.
advantage fighting for the Elder Drake with a complete invisibility here. Because you'd have to place a ward, 3 wards to see this whole back area now. And you still wouldn't be able to see in the bush unless you placed it there. Oh, that's... I don't know.
And,
Let's see what
well,
happens.
they are. Our goal is to add more unique encounters and meaningful strategy to the mid and late game. That said, these are some pretty big changes, and we're ready to adjust if they're making too much, too little of an impact. You can expect to see all of these changes on PvE in a couple of weeks, and we'll be looking for your feedback in the months ahead. Outside of preseason, something we've heard from all of you is that you'd like more ways to express yourself and your achievements in League. For some of you, ranked is how you define your progress, and that's great. We don't want to change that. But for those of you who aren't focused on the raid climb, there aren't great ways to express your own progress. Champion Mastery and Eternals help you show off your skills on a particular champ, but they don't tell the story of your broader League legacy. The new challenges system should achieve just that. Challenges
cool.
rank up
I like
over
that.
time,
That's like the
showcasing your
Dota thing
increasing
as well.
mastery and
Yeah, I
legacy
like
across a
challenges
bunch of
and
different
things.
systems, modes, and
This
gameplay,
is where I enjoy
making it a
playing.
little different than just a standard achievement.
Because we don't really do it
We
for
want to
rank.
highlight not just
No,
your
I
rank
don't.
and champion mastery,
Oh, look
but
how
also
cool
your
that looks.
inventiveness.
It does look sick.
breadth
I
of
like the
play
new
styles,
ranked
collection, and
flares
everything
around the edges. This whole shit,
Looks
that
more
looks
anime
really,
like.
really fucking awesome.
More animated like.
So that's silver, gold, diamond, masters, platinum, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And then
Or
obviously
diamond.
it's
Which
with
one do you
the
say?
getting
Diamond.
Wouldn't if they
diamond would
reset
be
your
this one, or
current
that's
champion
platinum, or this
stats?
is
Yeah, I
diamond.
think that's diamond, yeah.
Diamond on the right. Diamond, silver, plat, gold, master.
Maybe not, it's got a very big jewel in the middle there. It's hard to tell.
No, but I think the jewel's something else. You know, like you have those wings that
Oh,
add on it
yeah.
nowadays. Although maybe it adds extra wings. I don't know. It still looks cool though.
Want to showcase your
Oh, they made the play button a different
of-
shape.
I would like
Autofill
changes in general because I do generally get quite bored. and
Autofill
just-
protection?
We get that at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
play styles,
Oh.
collection, and everything else in between. Want to showcase your knack for never dying in ARAM? Or how great you are at killing minions in
Never
SR in
dying
the
in
first 10
Aram,
minutes?
No, everybody wants to see that.
Maybe you've collected over 100 champions, or love participating in events. All of this is now possible to track and display your progress with challenges.
I like
You'll
it.
get the
I like
first glimpse of challenges when they hit PBE next month, and the full system will launch early next year.
Next year, okay.
That's all I have to share with you today. Thanks so much for watching. And here's SafeLocked again to talk about game modes.
Okay.
Game modes.
When it comes to
Yeah.
game modes, one thing we've been hearing from you all is that you'd like more variety in the modes we bring back alongside events. So
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
Sure.
To start, we actually agree that the existing rotation of game modes can make some of the most popular modes like
You
Earth
ran
and One
back
for All
into the
feel a bit
fucking
stale.
blade.
Some of you have asked why we just don't bring back some of our other older game modes like Star Guardian Invasion or Ascension to mix things up. And the answer is that bringing back old modes isn't as easy as flipping a switch. League is constantly changing, which means all of our existing modes require constant upkeep. For
Jesus.
example, when we released Yumi, we had to figure out how she'd function in One for All. What happens when a Yumi attaches to a Yumi who is attached to a Yumi?
Oh my god.
Because of upkeep like this, we have to be very selective about the modes we maintain.
That is
And
an
right now, there are
awkward
just too few
problem to deal
popular
with.
modes that feel worth the investment compared to making brand new modes.
No,
or updating more
Yumi
resident
with the
ones for
Yumi
you.
can't jump to another
We've
Yumi
mentioned
without
this
the
before, but we
first
think
Yumi
the
getting
sweet
attached
spot for
from that
game modes
Yumi,
are
and
ones
then
that
she can
amplify
jump to the other
champion
Yeah.
Yumi.
fancies and really
But what if
build on
that
what you
Yumi's
love
on that
about your
Yumi and she
champs
wants to jump
and
to the other
Summoner's
Yumi?
Rift.
What if there's a Yumi on a
moving forward,
Yumi
we're
already and
focusing
that
on-
Yumi tries to jump to that Yumi? Does it
Using
kick
the
off the other
portrait
Yumi?
frame, exactly. Fuck, that's complicated
adding more
shit.
game modes that hit this goal. And to that, let's talk about Ultimate Spellbook. First and foremost, you all seem to really love this one. It was one of our highest engagement modes ever, second only to Earth. And
Really.
beyond popularity, we're super happy
Which one?
with how long you spent making on adding more game modes that hit this goal. And to that, let's talk about Ultimate Spellbook. First and foremost, you all seem to really love this one. It was one of our highest engagement modes ever,
What?
second
I
only
don't
to
know what
Earth.
it is.
And beyond popularity, we're super happy
You
with
seen
how
that
long
ever?
you spent making oversized champions with
Cameron
Cho'Gath
just
Salt.
muted himself out
And
of
by
this
that we mean
conversation.
the total amount of time you spent in Ultimate
That is a
Spellbook
huge
stayed
fucking
high
Z.
with Cho'Gath
Holy
Salt.
shit.
And by that we mean
Zach.
the total
Zach,
amount of time you
sorry.
spent in Ultimate Spellbook stayed high throughout the event. That gives us confidence that it's worth keeping around. That said, there are some clear areas of feedback that we want to address. Junglers were forced to take Smite and another ultimate, which meant they couldn't choose another summoner spell. They also missed out on a lot of exciting plays during the laning phase because they were stuck clearing camps. Beyond that, we also heard that games started to feel a little repetitive.
Okay.
Oh yes, okay, I think I have actually played this.
Due to
I
the
have
small
not played
number
this
of
game
events.
mode.
What is this?
I don't know, it looks familiar, but I
They
don't know
probably
what
just
the fuck
didn't
was going
try it.
on just now.
Available ultimates. And we agree. So, this winter we'll be bringing back Ultimate Spellbook with a bigger ult pool. We'll also be making some adjustments for junglers to ensure that your experience...
So is that like you get to change the ulti of your characters? You can play Ari with a Vex ulti or with an Akali ulti.
Possibly, I think it's like Dota Imbo, what was it? No, not Imbo, it was the other one.
The one you swap spells around
Spellbook with a
completely.
bigger
Yeah.
ult pool.
I fucking
We'll
used to
also be
love
making
that
some
shit.
adjustments for junglers to ensure that your experience in Ultimate Spellbook is just as fun as everyone else's. If you'd like to learn more about our approach to game modes, you can
That's
check
an
out the devlog
Aatrox
that's
with
coming out
a-
today. That's all we have for today. Thank you so
What
much
a
for
Mordekaiser
watching.
ult,
We hope you're
yeah.
enjoying Worlds as much as we are. And for any pros watching, once again, please pick a Moo.
What?
Why? Please pick
Any
a
pros watching, once again, please pick a Moo.
Once again, please pick a Mumu. Okay.